what you are saying will not look orderly at all. But I'll give you space. There's no problem.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 3rd May 2023, afternoon sitting. 1, report of the Auditor General on national government funds for the financial year 2021-2022. 2, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year ended 30th June 2022. A, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. B, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology Enterprises Limited. C, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology Industrial Park Limited. And D, Council of Governors. E, Lake Victoria Water and Sanitation Project, Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency. F, Kenya Towns Sustainable Water Supply and Sanitation Program, Ardhi Waterworks Development Agency. And G, Nairobi Inclusive Sanitation Improvement Project, Ardhi Waterworks Development Agency. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable Umulkhair Kasim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that aware that Article 42 of the Constitution accords every person the right to a clean and healthy environment, and that Article 69(1)(d) of the Constitution also mandates the state to encourage public participation in the management, protection, and conservation of environment, concerned that prevailing climate change and global warming has adversely affected our ecosystems and biodiversity, causing unprecedented droughts, food insecurity, and famine, thus affecting livelihoods and our economy. Further concerned that there is a general lack of awareness or insensitivity among our citizens regarding the place of environmental conservation in preserving our biodiversity, noting that there is need to inculcate a culture of environmental conservation practices to restore and maintain balanced natural ecosystems and ensure protection of biodiversity, including reducing the effects of pollution and conserving natural resources for our future generations. This House resolves that the government, through the Ministry of Environment...
Order, honorable members, order. Can we hear the honorable... Too cold? Are we in the same chamber? Okay, the sergeant will work on that. Okay. Sergeant, members are complaining. You should lower the air conditioning. Yes. Okay. Carry on, Honorable Umulkhair.
This House resolves that the government, through the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, develops and implements a policy on integrating a curriculum for environmental conservation in primary and secondary schools in the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next, Honorable Jess Kambalu. Honorable Jess Kambalu. Yes, Jessica.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to give notice of the following motion, and that is on the establishment of strategic grain storage reserves and silos in close proximity to smallholder farmers. That aware that agriculture is a backbone of Kenya's economy, contributing to approximately 33% of the GDP and employing more than 40% of the total population and 70% of the rural population. Noting that the sector's performance has been declining as a result of the adverse effects of climate change, resulting in droughts, famine, and food security. Further, noting that smallholder farming is predominantly rain-fed cereal grain farming, and farmers experience boom harvest every time there is adequate rains. Concerned that such farmers majority lack proper post-harvest grain handling and modern storage facilities, and resort to selling their harvest almost immediately after harvesting at low prices when market is flooded to reduce risk of suffering losses through spoilage. Mr. Speaker, concerned of the fact that the current state of affairs exacerbates poverty in rural areas, and there is need for instituting measures that boost local production to augment our grain reserves as stipulated under the National Food and Nutrition Security Policy, which would also lead to reduction of grains imports in the country. Mr. Speaker, this House now resolves that the government, through Minister of Agriculture and Livestock Development, establish strategic grain storage reserves and silos in close proximity to smallholder farmers so as to address post-harvest inefficiencies. Signed by myself, the member of Kibwesi's constituency, Jessica Balu, CBS MP. I thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Jessica. The Honorable Peter Salasia. Honorable Peter Salasia.
Atandi. I start? Okay. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion of the following.
Go on.
I'm saying, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That aware that the importation and exportation of sugar is regulated by the various laws, including the Crops Act and the Agriculture and Food Authority Act 2013. Further aware that the Agriculture and Food Authority is charged with the responsibility of regulating the importation and exportation of sugar in the country in accordance with the law. Noting that the importation of sugar is also negotiated within the regional trade blocks.
Order. Who has a point of order? Bayu, what is out of order?
A female handbag, Mr. Speaker.
The Speaker.
He's been down on his chair, now he's running up and down with the handbag, Mr. Speaker. We don't know what he's carrying in the House. Thank you.
The Speaker never saw that. Carry on, Osoro.
So, okay. So I'm continuing where I left from.
Start from where you left.
Okay. Further noting that the individuals or entities are allowed to import sugar provided they obtain the necessary permits and meet the required standards. Concerned that despite these regulations, there have been instances of illegal importation of low-quality sugar or adulterated sugar. Further concerned that unscrupulous traders have been found to rebrand the sugar which does not meet the set standards. Deeply concerned that this poses significant public health risks to consumers as well as undermining efforts to regulate and strengthen the sugar industry to protect local millers. Acknowledging that the country has the potential to produce enough sugar to meet its domestic demand, as the sector has been a key driver of economic growth. Further acknowledging that there is need for concerted efforts by all stakeholders to discourage the branding of sugar by non-millers and promote the development of the local sugar industry. Now, therefore, this House resolves that the government, through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, ensure strict operationalization of the regulatory frameworks concerning sugar importation into the country, including ensuring that the branding of sugar by non-millers is banned. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Salasia. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
The Honorable Jerusha Momanyi. All the honorable members, I have given the floor to the Honorable Women Rep for Nyamira.
Thank you, Mr.
She has a
Speaker.
personal statement to make.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to make a personal statement. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a personal statement. I am a women representative from Nyamira County, and I'm making a statement on the loss of my mother.
All
I am
the
deeply
honorable
saddened.
members, can we hear Mama Jerusha in silence?
I am deeply saddened by the loss of my beloved mother, Mama Agnes Moranya Chwaya. She was a great business and a devout Christian who lived according to her faith. A staunch member of the SDA Church, Mama Agnes was an inspiration to many, and her legacy will continue to live on. Mr. Speaker, as her daughter, I am proud to have had an incredible mother. She was a hard-working mother who never gave up, even in the face of adversity. Though her small business of selling milk, Mom Agnes was able to provide for her family and ensure that all 11 of her children received education. Her determination and resilience have been an inspiration to me and many. Mr. Speaker, Mom Agnes was not just a mother to her children, but a mother to the entire community. She was always ready to help those in need and was a champion of women's empowerment. Mama Agnes influenced the community, particularly the Gusii women, to venture into business. Her feat that was unheard of in her life. Her dream was for me to be in a position of leadership, to influence change in society. And I am proud to say that her dream has come to pass. I currently serve as the women representative of Nyamira County, a position that allows me to continue the legacy that my mother wished to and prayed for. To all of our relatives and friends, particularly those from Nyaganta, where my mother lives and comes from, I would like to extend my sincere apologies to all relatives of Mama Agnes, and also I would like to send my condolences to all those who are going to be buried on Friday in our county as my mother is going to be buried. We celebrate her life and the many memories that she shared with us. She was a remarkable woman who touched the lives of many, and her legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. Let Mama Agnes, who is my beloved mother, rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity so that I can make the last statement for my late mother. Thank you, and I want to thank all members who have supported me. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Jerusha, and we extend our collective condolences to you for the loss of your beloved mother. I have been requested by Osoro to make us an additional eulogy to your mom. Then there is Honorable Donya, and your MP, what's the name? Yeah? Okay. Osoro, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Number one, to appreciate you for setting a precedent that a member can mourn the direct member of her family in this house. And this is really quite unprecedented so far, and we really appreciate. Honorable Speaker, those people who've grown with mothers like Honorable Jerusha know very well that mothers form an integral part of a body of a family. And when you have a privilege to grow with your mother, you know, to even see you to the point of success, and by God's grace, she was able to see the grandchildren, it's very painful to lose such kind of a very important person in the family. And especially when you lose the mother at this very age. You know, some of us might have lost parents, of course, at a tender age of 7, but the pain might not really be commensurate to the pain that a person who's been able to live with that very parent to this age is able to feel. So, Honorable Speaker, I join the people of Kitutu Masaba and Nyamira County in general to mourn Mama Agnes, a staunch Christian and a person who was really helping people in the society. She was an active member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Nyamira County, and a serious business lady in the area. And may her soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Cliff.
Donya.
Cliff kwanza ndio Donya afuate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my name is Clive Gisairo, Member of Parliament, Kitutu Masaba. Would like to pass our sincere condolences as the people of Kitutu Masaba, where Honorable Jerusha comes from. We all appreciate the role of mothers in the community and where we come from. And having listened to Jerusha speak, you get to hear what her mother stands for. We, as the people of Kitutu Masaba, would like to say that we've lost a pillar to our constituency and Nyamira County at large. Would like to stand by the family, wish them strength, and know that we are there with you during these tough times. We also would like to thank members of this House who've stood by Honorable Jerusha through the many platforms. We've been coordinating different levels of support, and you've really stood by us. We thank this House, and we wish that we keep continuing with that spirit of unity, standing by each one of us when we have challenges. Mr. Speaker, we'd like also to thank you for allowing the honorable member to mourn the loss of our mother on this floor. That sets a good precedence, and it allows people to feel at home while in this House. Thank you, and may our good mother rest in peace.
Donya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mama Jerusha Momanyi, we are with you at these hard times when we are celebrating the life of Mama Agnes Mora Nyachwaya of Gachuba Ward. Mr. Speaker, no one like a mother. I was a presenter at our local station, Eges FM, before I joined politics. When we visited Mama Agnes, she was very passionate about the girl child. I used to advocate for teenage. I was against FGM, Mr. Speaker, which Mama Agnes, being an Adventist, really supported. She raised 6 girls. And Mama Agnes told me, Donya, when you become a mother, make sure you guide your girls through having good morals, even having a wedding, not come to stay. Mama Agnes advocated for weddings. You get married at a proper age when you are a virgin. Yes, a virgin. That is what Mama Agnes advocated. You see, if she was fighting FGM, definitely she was promoting safe marriage, where you are clean, you have not gone through early sex. So Mama Agnes was fighting teen pregnancy. That's why Donya standing here obeyed to that law of being a virgin. I got married when I was a virgin, Mr. Speaker. Through the advice of Mama Agnes, who is Mama Jerusha's mother. In Kisii County, I fight for teen pregnancy. I fight for FGM, courtesy of Mama. Fight against. I'm a mother of 2 girls. You can be assured my girls will be virgins when they'll be getting married. Courtesy of Mama Agnes. Live long Mama Agnes from Kitutu Masaba, where our Solicitor General, Shadrach Mose, comes from. You can see it is the area of leaders. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Rest in peace, Mama Agnes from Gachuba. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, order. Honorable Opio Andai. Order, honorable members.
Yes, the Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Andai, this is the correct time that you should have stood.
Thank you, I'm well guided.
Prosecute your matter.
I was telling the Honorable Chungwa that, I've been out of this house for some time. I've been engaged in other national duties outside. Mr. Speaker, I was rising on a point of order number 20A5. But simply put, without really prevaricating, Mr. Speaker, I did write to you on the 6th of April, communicating the decision of the minority coalition, the removal of Honorable Sabina Chege as the deputy minority whip. Oh, I hear she's party leader. I don't know about that. I know that the leader of the Jubilee Party, which is a constituent party of Azimio, is none other than His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Order.
I don't want to be drawn into internal.
What is it? Order, honorable members. The statement by Honorable Andai should not excite you unnecessarily. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order for the Honorable Andai to mislead this House and Kenyans in general that Uhuru Kenyatta is the leader of Jubilee when we have just made a decision and our party leader is the Honorable Sabina Chege, Mr. Speaker? And is he in order, Mr. Speaker? Is he in order, Mr. Speaker?
Order.
Yes. Leader.
Order. Order, honorable members, order. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable Kainan, order. Order, honorable members, order. Honorable Kainan, take your seat. Order, honorable members. Order, Rosa Buyu, order. Order, Jacko Wamboka, order. Take your seats. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Honorable Member Mbeyu. Honorable Mbeyu, any more misconduct and you'll get the distinction of being the first for me to send out. I don't want you to have that distinction, but you are inviting it. Order, Honorable Rosa Buyu. It is enough for you to speak from where you are. It's totally out of order to picket along the aisle to go and menace another member. Order, Honorable Rosa Buyu. Order. Honorable members, order. The floor is with the Honorable Opio and I. He will be heard and interrupted. And anybody who engages in misconduct, you will be inviting your exclusion from the chamber. Honorable Wandai.
The Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I want to be very, very brief. That under the Standing Order 20A5, immediately I did write to you communicating our decision to remove the Honorable Sabina Chege as the Deputy Minority Whip. We expected you to communicate the same to the House. Mr. Speaker, on the 11th of April, when we expected that communication to come from you, you did the unexpected and opened up debate over the matter. Mr. Speaker, I protested against that decision, but of course, as the Speaker, I had to go by what you decided. After the debate, which in our view was totally uncalled for, I rose to ask you to give us a firm undertaking as to when you will make the communication. Mr. Speaker, you will recall that you declined to do so. And again, I respect it. Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of this House, and indeed the whole country, that under Article 4, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, that Kenyans fought for and some died for, Kenya is a democratic multi-party state governed by the principles and values under Chapter 10 of the Constitution. One of the cardinal principles of this House, one of the cardinal duties of this House is to protect multipartyism. Mr. Speaker, this House cannot be complete without the minority side. This House, under the Constitution, can only be complete with the majority and the minority sides. And therefore, the minority coalition deserves respect. We deserve respect from everybody else. It is not the duty of the majority coalition, nor is it the duty of the Speaker to decide for us who is our whip or deputy whip. And that message must go home clear and loud, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is now a month. It's now a month since I did write to you. Since I did write to you, it's now a month. And therefore, that delay definitely means that our side is incapacitated. We cannot manage our affairs properly because we are having a serious vacancy in our leadership. I want to implore you, Mr. Speaker, that it is also your duty to ensure that this House runs smoothly and that this House, there is order at all times. It is also our duty as leaders of the House, from both sides, that this House runs in a manner that upholds its integrity and credibility. But in the manner we are moving, Mr. Speaker, if we cannot get a mere communication on a decision by ourselves to remove one of our own from a position to which we placed her, then there's no need for this House to continue transacting business. There's no need. There's no need.
Are you done?
Then we can as well pack up and go home, all of us.
Okay. Yeah. You're finished. Order.
And you know, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
You'll be heard in
I am
silence.
not the kind of person that can easily be intimidated. You know that.
Have you finished?
I can never be intimidated by any person. Never.
Order,
Never.
Honorable Wandai, finish up.
Never.
Thank
It
you.
can never happen. And therefore, I want to say this, that Mr. Speaker, kindly give the communication now about.
Thank you. You're done? Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Honorable members, order. Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader, for your very spirited statement. I agree with the facts, as you have said. You wrote to me, that is true. I brought the matter to the floor, that is true. I allowed a debate, that is true. I promised a ruling, that is true. That I didn't give a date for the ruling, that is also true. And subsequent to that, I also recall seeing you on TV, beyond the debate, talking very animatedly about the same matter which was out of order, but I didn't bring it to your attention. I have listened to you, and I want to assure you that the Speaker is not going to be part of any parochial politics. The Speaker is not going to be part of the management of any affairs of any party or any coalition, but the Speaker is also enjoined in the oath he took to protect and defend the Constitution, and will do so without any fear or favor or prejudice. The ruling that you are seeking is its final stages by the team that works with Mr. Speaker, the Office of the Clerk, and it is equally true that it will be delivered, and I can assure you that I'll deliver it tomorrow, and you will get the contents and the outcome of so let's not be unnecessarily agitated. We want to have a house run with decorum. You yourself, as the leader, has confessed on the floor that you have been away for quite some time. And indeed, I asked about you and your chief whip on the floor of the House, because I would love to see vibrant debate, presence of leadership. It is you, the leaders of this House, that holds your member on the floor of the House. When you exit, they follow you. So I want to encourage you and your deputy, who is here more often than yourself, that we should have all of us here. And I want to encourage you, honorable members. There is a walkway out there. We have good gardens in the Parliament. We can pick it out there. Please give this House the dignity, the decorum that you carry for the people of Kenya. Because nobody out there will be impressed by you as an elected member. When you stand up and throw your arms in the air and shout at the top of your voice, you demean the very stage of this House. Honorable, and I have tremendous respect for you, and nobody will intimidate you in my presence. Yes, so don't cry about intimidations. Honorable Ichungwa, your counterpart, is not in the business of intimidating people, and I will not allow him to do so either. So it is so ordered. Order. If Wamboka, you have been a victim of Ichungwa's intimidation, you come and tell me, I'll protect you. Let's go to the next order. We are now going to question time. Order. Order, Honorable Anjala. I'm not giving you any chance. Next order. We are on statements and questions. Order, honorable members. If you read your standing orders, we say question time starts not later than 3 p.m. We are now at 3:17. The Minister for Education is here. There are your colleagues who have filed questions on behalf of the people they represent and the country. We shall now welcome the Honorable Ezekiel Machogu, the Minister for Education, and I call upon the member for Embakasi West, the Honorable Mwenje, to ask the first question. Honorable Mwenje. Honorable Mwenje. Order. 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 Honorable members. Order. Honorable Atandi. Honorable Atandi. It is grossly out of order to throw the jibes that I've had you throw the chair, and you'll go down in history as the first member to be ordered to be excluded from the proceedings of the House, and I'll order you to leave this afternoon. Honorable Atandi, take your leave. Take your leave, Honorable Atandi. Honorable Atandi, take your leave. You know very well that the Speaker has a lot of time for you. But you have no right to say what you said. Take your leave. Honorable Atandi, take your leave. If the chair was to be drastic, I would have asked somebody to name you, but I will not. Just take your leave quietly. Order, Honorable Wandai. Let me finish with Atandi first. Order, order. Honorable Atandi, take your leave. Order, Honorable Wandai. Order, Honorable Wandai, you don't own any member in this House. You only lead members. You don't own any member. Honorable Wandai, you don't own any member. Honorable Atandi, take your leave. Honorable Atandi, you know the consequences of disobeying that order. Take your leave. Order, Honorable Wamboka. Wanda Atandi, take your leave. Honorable Atandi, take your leave. Honorable Atandi, you know the consequences of disobeying the chair. Take your leave. Order, Honorable Angela. Honorable Atandi, take your leave. Just take your leave. You are now a stranger in the House. Take your leave. Honorable Atandi. Order, honorable members. Order, Honorable Mbui. Honorable Mbui, take your seat. Honorable Atandi, take your leave. Be the gentleman that I know. Honorable Mwenje, ask your question. Honorable Mwenje, are you in the House? Ask your question.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain the action that the Ministry has taken against those responsible for invading Umoja 1 Primary School on 5th April 2023 and give the status of investigations into the invasion and indicate whether any suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident. State the disciplinary actions that have been preferred against the head teacher and the board of management following the invasion of the school.
I'll give you. Yes.
Explain
Mwenje gone.
Explain why the school has allowed private enterprises to operate within the school compound and why a shipping container bearing National Youth Service NYS label is located in the school yet managed by private individuals. Indicate why the head teacher and board of management have employed armed youths to protect private enterprises operating illegally within the school compound. Explain why the transfer of the head teacher from the school in January 2023 following the myriad of complaints from residents was stopped by the Teacher Service Commission despite a transfer letter having been issued. Honorable Speaker, I wish to also note that I'm here to get responses on this issue. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order. Order, honorable members. Those members who want to leave the chamber, please do so quietly. That Honorable Mwenje has asked a very important question for his constituents. He also happens to be on your side. So give him an opportunity to prosecute his question in silence. Those who want to leave, nobody can chain you in the chamber. Please do so quietly. We will transact business with or without your presence.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think, should I repeat the questions or?
The minister has heard you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Minister, now you answer that question. And honorable members, those with supplementaries, you can go to intervention. The screen is full as usual. I will probably end up using a show of hands to give you an opportunity to ask. Go on, Waziri.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir, and honorable members, and my friend who has raised the question, Honorable Speaker. The information is as follows, that on the 5th of April 2023, the area member of parliament, accompanied with a group, went to Moja Primary School, and there was another rival group, and there was a confrontation that ensued between the group that was with the member of parliament and the group that also emerged from the school community. In the fracas, Honorable Speaker, 3 people were shot at and 3 sustained some injuries. The matter was reported to the Directorate of CID, and the information that we have been able to confirm is that the person who shot at the 3 innocent people is the security personnel who is attached to the Honorable Member of Parliament, one known as Eri Ojuang Omoro, and the necessary investigations have been done by the police and is due to be arraigned in the Makadara Law Courts on the 12th May 2023. So that was what happened, that the Honorable Member of Parliament went to the school, and the members, the parents and others, there were 2 groups, and that is how the fracas came about. The second set of the question, Honorable Speaker, sir, is the disciplinary action that has been preferred against the head teacher and the board of management following the invasion of the school. As I've said, the necessary investigations are being done by the CID and other relevant agencies in the government, and according to the investigations, and depending on the outcome of the investigations, those found culpable, the necessary disciplinary action, no doubt, will be taken, because so far, there is that one person who has been taken to court, and the investigations are still ongoing, and depending on the outcome, we will be able to take the necessary administrative action, including disciplinary action to those who were involved in this. The third set of the question, Honorable Speaker, is that the government policy is very clear that indeed nobody is supposed to operate private business within the school premises, and we did establish that before November 2022, there were a number of businesses that were being transacted within the school compound, which was against the government policy, and following the complaints, and more so from the Member of Parliament, the necessary remedial action has been taken on this, and all the businesses that were being conducted in the school have now been closed down. Among the businesses that were being conducted in the school was that one, there was a container in the school where we had a canteen. We also have a swimming pool in the school, which was done using CDF funds by the former Member of Parliament, and we also did establish that indeed members of the public have been accessing the swimming pool, and we are also taking action to ensure that what the school administration, the Board of Management allowed was not proper, particularly members of the public accessing the school during school days, and since then we have said members of the public should not be able to access the school during school days, and also been able to establish, Honorable Speaker, sir, the amounts that were collected from that, because the school Board of Management was being paid. We have also sent auditors and quality assurance officers to establish the specific amounts that were collected from those particular businesses that were being transacted in the school, so that we can be able to make sure that whatever monies that were collected, how they were expended, and if they were not expended properly, then those culprits will be able to be taken necessary disciplinary action thereafter. The head teacher, Honorable Speaker, I admit that indeed there was a transfer for this particular teacher and Mr. Onyango to a school known as Mahiga Primary School, which is within Kasarani. But again, the Teacher Service Commission, after receiving information that the transfer was being instigated by people who would not give proper information, decided to cancel the transfer and harm in touch with the Teacher Service Commission, such that once we establish and conclude the investigations that are ongoing, then we will be able to take further action on the head teacher and anybody who will be involved in this particular act. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Honorable Mwenje.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I thank the Cabinet Secretary. Frankly, Honorable Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary is giving us information that was in the public domain. Allow me to follow up with two supplementary questions. Is that could the Cabinet Secretary provide the identity of the person responsible for allowing the armed youths who invaded the school? Secondly, Honorable Speaker, can the Cabinet Secretary tell us why a container, he's just admitted that the container is being used as a canteen privately and it is marked NYS. Why is it, can he confirm the container belongs to the school? Is it owned by a private individual? And why is this happening while there's a head teacher and a BOM? How is this appropriate? Can the Cabinet Secretary kindly explain this?
Thank you, Mwenje.
Thank you, Honorable
Hold on,
Speaker,
hold
sir.
on, Minister, take a few supplementaries. I'll allow 2 or 3. Honorable Bukose. Okay. Just take the notes, then you will answer. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes.
I want to ask and thank you, the Cabinet Secretary. I want to ask the Cabinet Secretary about registration of new schools in some of the areas and where you find, and in particular in Endebe's constituency, where we have new schools or even young schools without even TSC teachers. What is he doing about it? And what is the ministry's policy about registration of new schools? Thank you.
Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the Cabinet Secretary. Mr. Speaker, I've been a chair previously for education, and I want to thank him for the work he's doing. But Mr. Speaker, my question is on the junior secondary teachers, who, Mr. Speaker, were given contracts by TSC, and as per my understanding, Mr. Speaker, the junior secondary teachers have not been able to be paid, and they have gone for months without salary and pay, and a lot of them are going through a lot of pain. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like the Cabinet Secretary to inform the House on what's the plan of paying the junior secondary school teachers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, Wamchomba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you to our Cabinet Secretary in the House. Mine is to direct a question to the Cabinet Secretary on matters drug and substance abuse in school, noting that the presidency, through the Deputy President, has initiated a campaign to rid off drugs from our schools and from our communities. What is the ministry doing to support this campaign so that we can rid off drugs from our learners, especially in day public schools, both primary and secondary? Do we have a policy that can direct or can guide us on how to harmonize the activities that are done inside the schools and outside the schools so that we can succeed together? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Bahati. Today is the day of the ladies. Give the mic to the member for Bahati.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary, and mine is to request that you tell us how far are you to complete equipping all the TVETs that the government has put money into, because those institutions need to be used, and unfortunately they are not in use because we lack equipment. Thank you.
Yes, Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask a follow-up question to the Cabinet Secretary for Education. And mine is relating to the schools in Nairobi. Schools in Nairobi are performing very poorly in exams, from the primary school exams to the secondary school exams. And the state of some of these schools, despite the fact that we have invested very heavily in infrastructure through the CDF funds, have teachers who have overstayed, teachers who have gone native, some of them who do private activities rather than focusing on the schools. And some of these schools are run by cartels that do illegal businesses, as you have had from the Embakasi West Member of Parliament. So my question is, what action are you taking as the Cabinet Secretary to address this particular problem, this chronic problem, and reform and bring changes into the schools in our community in Nairobi, so that Nairobi's performance can be as equal to other regions? Because at the moment we are much lower in performance than many other regions that are seriously underdeveloped. And this is the capital city of the Republic of Kenya. So what action are you taking to change things around and making sure that, in fact, these teachers are removed, the schools are reformed, and you address this issue of underperformance or poor performance in our schools?
Thank you. Honorable Kibet? And do you call Kibet? No, the member behind you. Kipkelion. Hillary, sorry, Hillary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The biggest challenge we have in the running of our schools is the lack of teachers, poor staffing, Mr. Speaker. And most of the time, parents pay teachers through BOM. And the Teacher Service Commission had come with a plan of introducing interns to teach in these schools. But the problem is, when vacancies arise, the same interns are recruited and taken to schools away from the schools they are teaching, yet they have a shortage. What is the ministry doing to make sure that when vacancies arise, these interns are given the stations they teach as their first priority? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. Which way? Now I've given you. Yes, the Honorable Member here. Member Richard Yegon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would like to ask a question, the Cabinet Secretary. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain why primary school students and officials from Bomet County who participated in the Rift Valley Regional Athletics Games competition held at Narok County from the 16th to the 19th of April 2023 were not facilitated in good time, prompting unknown individuals to coerce members of the public and to fundraise through social media. Members of parliament from the 5 sub-counties, each being asked to contribute 40,000 shillings, and the governor to raise 100,000.
You are making a speech. Ask a question.
This is a question. I've just asked that question.
Yes.
And then, number 2, explain how students and the officials from other 13 other 13 counties in the Rift Valley region.
Honorable, you are actually out of order. I gave you room to ask a supplementary question. It has to order, Honorable Member. It has to relate to what was asked, but I've been allowing members to ask what in law we call a justem generis to the question. Related to the question. But now you are reading a statement or something. That is not a supplementary question. If you have a question that is totally different from this, you ask for permission, and the chair will give you room to ask. The minister is here for a long haul. But procedurally, a supplementary question is an extempore question, where you just stand up and ask in relation to a question asked or related to a question asked. Okay, ask your question. And
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for being guided. Thank you.
It should be.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to know how the other sub-counties, the other counties of 13 counties were facilitated to go to this Narok competition, which was going on for this, which was going on between the 16 and the 19. How were they facilitated? And Bomet County was not facilitated, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Member for For Owen Bayer, your constituency is Kilifi North. I'll come to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to ask a supplementary question following on a question on registration of schools. Honorable Speaker, in Kilifi County, we have 186 schools that have not been registered. 186, both public and private. These schools have children going to these schools. Some of them have even done Form 4 exams twice. Others have done KCPE twice, 3 times. They have not been registered. The schools are suffering and the children and parents have to keep on paying fees, and yet government can support. Honorable Speaker, what can you do to help the people of Kilifi County in the registration of schools? I thank you.
Women Rep Isiolo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Minister, be ready to answer those, then we'll do another round. Just hold your horses. I'm here with you the whole afternoon.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My questions are specific to junior secondary schools, and these are observations I made in my county. And I want to know why junior secondary school textbooks supplied are for only 3 learning areas out of the 12 which other counties have received. For the case of Isiolo, why only 3 out of 12 learning areas? Number 2, why classrooms and laboratories are not enough for junior secondary school learners in my county? The other question still on Give
her the mic. Ask the last one.
Why teachers posted to those schools are not enough? Every school has got just 1 teacher, and that's not sufficient. And finally, guidelines for registration is not available, and also guidelines for lunch is not available for junior secondary schools. That is for Isiolo County. Kindly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Minister Machogu, answer those 10 interventions. We'll do another round. Members.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The first question from the Honorable Member of Parliament for Embakasi is that as a ministry, and I've made this very clear, that anybody transacting business within the school compound, the necessary action will be taken, and there's no doubt what was happening in that particular school, Moja, actually started way back in 2016. And I have already taken action. There is no any kind of business now going on, and anywhere, not only in that particular school, but any particular school in the country that there is any such business going on, we will be able to close it down and, of course, take the necessary action that is required to be taken. And I assure the Member of Parliament for Embakasi that what we are doing is proper audit such that we are able to establish the amount of money that the school was able to get over the years since 2016 out of the kind of business that they were dealing with. And once we get that, we will also insist to get how that particular money was expended, was utilized, and if it was not utilized, anybody who took the money will be made to pay, and if they don't pay, the necessary legal action will be taken against the Board of Management and any such head teacher who was concerned or involved in that particular malpractice. So we are taking action on that, and that is assured. The second one, Honorable Speaker, is that we don't have militia in that school. What we have is security guards belonging to a company known as Sewu Security Company. They cover security during the day, 2 of them, and also at night we normally have 2 security guards in that particular school. So we have no militia or illegal other people involved in covering the security of that particular school, apart from that day on the 5th, where there were those people who came to the school who were not authorized to come to the school. The second set of questions, Honorable Speaker, is that when I took over as the new administration in the Ministry of Education, there was a serious problem concerning registration of schools, both in secondary and in primary, because the procedure and the process of registering a school required that there was to be a recommendation from the sub-county directors of education to come all the way to the county directors of education, and finally, the final approval was being given by the ministry headquarters. I've since made changes concerning that particular DTS process, and we have now made it much easier, such that the circular issued to all the county directors in the country is that the county directors themselves want to get the applications for registering these schools. They is not be able to send the same to the ministry headquarters for approval. They themselves now have the power, they have the authority to register the schools at the county level. And your Honorable Speaker, I have the figures because we had a serious problem in this. Progressively, we have made a lot of progress because the number that we have been able to register since for the last 4 months, ever since we came up with that circular, is quite commendable, and I will request the members, if there are any such schools which have not been registered, kindly bring it to my attention, and I will be able to take the necessary action so that they are registered, because some of these schools have been in existence for the last 4 years, for the last 5 years. Even some are actually going to do KCPE. You get there in Standard 8. There are others in Form 4, and they require to be registered so that they can also get government capitation, as well as getting Teacher Service Commission teachers, because when they are not registered, we don't capture them in NEMIS, so they miss out in the capitation that we give our primary schools as well as our junior secondary schools, including the senior secondary schools, and also they miss out in getting teachers from Teacher Service Commission. So I assure members that anywhere where we have those cases, I undertake to make the necessary action so that we get all of them registered, Honorable Speaker. The third question is one that is not only affecting our schools in primary, secondary, and even tertiary, universities, drug abuse, and substance. This is one serious problem that we have as a country, as a society, which the government is using a multi-agency approach, such that it is not only the means of education. NACADA is in the forefront in the fight against this. Internal security is in the forefront fighting against this. In the midst of education, we have a policy with NACADA where we insist that various measures have to be taken in order to ensure that there is no infiltration to our schools and our young people are not captives of this drug abuse and substance. And what we have also done, Honorable Speaker, sir, is that we have formed a committee at the national level, which we have said it will be able to cascade all the way up to the counties, giving guidance and counseling. Chaplaincy, we have said we must have chaplaincy in each and every school. We must have teachers who will be doing guidance and counseling in each and every school, because apart from, of course, drug abuse and substance, we also get that our young people in schools are involved in certain other malpractices that can be addressed once we have proper guidance and counseling in our schools. So it's an issue which, of course, we cannot deny that it is affecting our schools, and we are very keen on this to make sure that the necessary remedial measures are taken to prevent our schools and the young people from being involved in these social vices. The other one is TVETs. Yes, 71 of our technical and vocational institutes are supposed to get equipment, and I want to assure the members Honorable Speaker said that the Kenya Kwanza administration is very keen on the technical and vocational training, because that is what the market, that is what the country requires, and indeed that is what will make us as a country to achieve the 2030 vision, and even what we have set as an agenda in the government. And we have entered into negotiations, and I think the Chinese government did make an agreement that they will be able to supply the equipment. Myself and the CS National Treasury have signed that agreement, and I think even the contract that the supplier who is supposed to supply the equipment, Africa International, is already on it. So we expect that the equipment will be available anytime soon, so that we can now be able to send the required equipment to the 71 institutions which have been identified. Nairobi schools, thank you, Member of Parliament, because I'm equally concerned, because our performance in Nairobi schools is not very good, and not only in Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, because when we assess the schools in the country, almost 3,000 of our schools, there is no single student who gets to university, no C+, 3,000 schools. And when you analyze the performance, particularly in KCSE, what do you get? 40% of our students get D, D-, and E. So the problem is not only in Nairobi, but various other parts in the country, and as a ministry, we are also addressing this particular issue, such that we look at, is it the principals, is it the teachers, is it the parents, is it the environment around which is making our students not perform? And we are having meetings, conferences. We will also have one in Nairobi, Honorable Member, where you will also be able to attend, because the meetings we are going to have will be able to inform the local leaders. I was in Krivit the other day, and even the Member of Parliament was also able to voice the same concern, that for years they have not had a student getting an A in Tioro County, and we did agree that we will be able to have an approach where all of us come together and look at a solution in order for our students to be able to perform. And I'm sure that what will really concern the honorable members is, like last year, 354,000 students, not only from Nairobi, but all over the country, got D, D-, and E, which was 40% of those who did KCSE. There are equally very good schools in Nairobi performing very well, like Nairobi Primary School and the Nairobi Junior School, and quite a number which also perform so well. So we will be able to partner with the area Member of Parliament and the other local leaders, so that we are able to get a solution in this particular program of performance in our schools. I also undertake to investigate, because yes, where you find probably principals been in our school for 10, 15 years, even if he was a good performer, it reaches a point where probably you cannot be able to offer anything new in that particular school. And of course, it comes to a stage where we say we transfer them after a time, and we will be able to investigate on that, so that we take the necessary action. Honorable Speaker, members know that shortage of teachers is of course a problem that we are faced with, not only in one area but in the entire country. And the Kenya Kwanza administration, immediately it came to power, we were able to employ 30,000 teachers to address this particular problem. Of course, they are still far from adequate. As we move on, we will also be increasing these numbers progressively, of course, taking into consideration that we also look at the economy, because as we employ them, they have to be paid. So this is one problem that we are also looking at. and I'm sure as we move forward, the situation will be better than it is. Interns, yes, honorable members, honorable speaker, we said because of the program we have, we employ interns. Normally for primary school interns, we pay them 15,000, and for secondary school interns, we pay 20,000. And we say that when an opportunity for employment comes up, we give first opportunity to those who have served as interns. I take and I agree that in case a school is not having a teacher in a certain subject and there is an opportunity for that particular intern to be employed, then we should be able to give that opportunity for the intern to serve in that particular school as opposed to getting somebody from elsewhere. Before I answer the question for Bomet, I would like to answer the question of junior secondary school by the Member of Parliament from Isiolo. Members, I also want to take the opportunity to thank you most sincerely for your participation in the presentation that you made during the Presidential Working Party, because they were able to move around in the 47 counties, getting views and recommendations on this matter. Of course, we have challenges, and the kind of challenges we have, we are still to have adequate laboratories and also in certain other schools enough classrooms. And as a ministry, we are really addressing this issue. We have had an engagement with our development partners, particularly the World Bank, and the negotiations we have made is that the funding we are likely to get will go in alleviating the kind of program we have, particularly in laboratories. And we thank you also because partnering with you, we know that it is only a question of time, and we will be able to have the required infrastructural development required in our schools. For Bomet, explain us for us.
Yes, and I.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you must have realized a while back I stepped out of the chambers and I retreated to my office. But while there, I have really agonized. First, this is the first time, I think, since I joined this parliament in 2013, that a member, in this case a member of my coalition, has been sent out without...
Order, Honorable Wandai. Order, Honorable Wandai. Order, Honorable Wandai. Take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable Wandai, you are very senior. We are having questions. It's in the middle of a question. And I would expect your point of order would be if something is out of order about what the minister is saying. What you're asking is something spent. You cannot, under our standing orders, retreat out there and come back to challenge the decision of the chair. You also know, and I, that the chair is not in the business of compounding misconduct. And if you have come back with something else, when time comes, I'll give you to say. But you can't walk into the chamber. Order, Honorable Wandai. You are more decent than that. You can't walk into the chamber and demand to hear about a decision of the chair which is out of order when the minister is in the middle of answering questions. In fact, the reason I allowed you a point of order is perhaps I thought you wanted to say the minister was misleading the House. But if what you are trying to say is what you want to say, I will not allow you. Order, Honorable Wandai. Order, Honorable Wandai. Order. Order, Honorable Wandai. Minister, continue. Minister, continue.
Mr. Speaker, I want to answer the question from the Member of Parliament for Bomet, and I want, Mr. Speaker, this year, the Ministry released a calendar for the resumption of curricular activities for basic education in institutions after we had suspended the same for the past 3 years because of COVID-19 pandemic. Bomet County was able to undertake all the term 1 activities for both primary and secondary schools as per the calendars given by the Ministry of Education. In particular, the county participated successfully as follows. All the 5 sub-counties within the county had their competitions and successfully presented their teams for competition at the county level. The county had the competitions in all categories, both at the county and the regional levels as given here below. Summer festival for both primary and secondary schools were held at county level, and the winning teams presented to represent the county at the regional festivals that were held in Kitare, Trans Nzoia County between 20th and 26th March 2023. The county Kenya Science and Engineering Fair was undertaken, and the county team participated in the regional competition held at Nwek High School in Bomet County between the 6th and the 8th April 2023. Secondary school term 1 games were held in Bomet East for county level, and the county team participated in the regional competition held in Eldoret between 4th and 9th April 2023. Also, the county participated successfully in the regional SNE games for both primary and secondary schools held in Nakuru between 14th and 19th April 2023. For primary athletics, the county participated in all the sub-counties. Competitions were held in their respective venues. The county competition was also held on the 13th April 2023 at Chebukosiom Primary School in Sotiki Sub-County. The county team participated in the regional competition held in Narok County between 16th and 22nd April 2023. The county was ranked number 5 out of 14 in the region, with the 5 pupils, 3 boys and 2 girls, representing the region in the national competition. For these activities, the Bomet County had so far received $1,500,000 from the ministry. They were able to utilize the funds in the best way possible to ensure that our children participated in the activities as I've outlined. This is in addition to Kenya shillings 578,134 to each sub-county. It is worth to note that the county received support from our stakeholders, particularly the Heads Association of both primary and secondary school, KEPSA and KESA, for their successful participation. In addition, the county appreciated the support received also from the county leadership and the members of parliament who also supported us in this endeavor. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the ministry also released a total of 312,159,925 in February this year to all in the field education officers to support co-curricular activities. Each sub-county received Kenya shillings 578,134.50. Each county received, as I've said, 1,500,000, and each region also received 2.5 million. The competitions are held in the sub-county level, the county level, the regional and the national levels. Each level manages its own budget as supported by the ministry. And finally, we are going to have music, the national level, which will be held in Nyeri County, Dedan Kimathi University. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Order, honorable members. Order. Honorable Mbui, take your seat. Honorable members, take your seats. Honorable Mbui, Honorable Andai, from what you started saying when I gave you the point of order, you are veering towards offending Standing Order 107A. It reads as follows. A member commits an act of gross disorderly conduct if the member A defies a ruling or direction of the Speaker or chairperson of a committee, and more relevant, C, demonstrates or makes disruptive utterances against the suspension of a member. You appeared to be asking, challenging the order by the chair to exclude the member for Alego Songa from the proceedings of the House. The Speaker sits here, the Speaker listens, the Speaker watches, the Speaker hears, and the Speaker can also decipher from what is going on in the House. That you didn't hear the offensive words that the member uttered does not mean he didn't utter them. Secondly, by the Speaker repeating those words amounts to compounding an offense on the floor of the House. And the Speaker cannot and will not regurgitate what the member said. The member has been sent out in a proper manner, and an attempt to challenge that offends Standing Order 107A, which you yourselves passed to govern the proceedings of this House. When you stood on a point of order, I thought you were going to challenge the veracity or accuracy of what the minister was saying. It turned out to be far from that. And the chair will not allow any member, whether in leadership or not, to engage in challenging rulings and directions from the chair, because the standing orders don't allow that. So let's carry on with taking other supplementaries. If you have questions to ask, I'll give you the chance. If you want to ask about the suspension of Honorable Atandi, I will not give you. Honorable Mbui, I have never known you to conduct yourself in the manner you are doing. I have never, and I've been with you for a very long time. Please regain your decorum that I know. And let's have the House run in proper order. Those with supplementaries, Honorable Johanna Ngeno.
Thank you, Speaker. I wish to ask the Minister concerning the issue of delocalization, which was discussed and done both in this House and outside, and found to have been